Steve happens to be an alderman in the city of Oak Creek, and I have a feeling he's going to be the next mayor in the city of Oak Creek. But Steve, I wonder if you could share your experiences about the concept of building consensus as a leader. Certainly there are challenging moments in the public sector where it can be difficult and frustrating to get everybody to do the right thing. And so I wonder if you could speak to the power of building consensus and the importance of it as a leader.
First, I got to say, as an alderman in Oak Creek, I appreciate the cover story on your your little handout there. Is anybody from Oak Creek here tonight? Awesome, great city. Building consensus obviously is challenging for me because I again have a remote team. So I understand that the challenges, and we have to find ways to kind of to reach that consensus. But one of the things I do is we kind of have a segment of our call devoted to this is something that we're talking about. All right, so I want to hear the negatives, and I want to hear the pros and cons to these ideas. And we kind of go around the group, the 12 people and myself, and we talk about the pros and cons. And as they give me the cons, we appreciate and we accept people to get on a line and challenge them on their cons. So as we're going through this weekly, we actually have a dialogue that is so different than the way we used to do things in business. It used to be your boss told you to do it, and that trickled down, and you did it, and then you pass that on to your employees. To some extent, there's still a common target and goal, but now we actually try to get the employees, at least I do, involved in the decision making, working out any solutions to issues that may come up. So we do that on a weekly basis. We kind of understand this has got to be something that we're all buying into. But I want to hear the negatives so that we don't have to be surprised when we're presenting this to somebody, down the road. I have an employee in Seattle, and we just did a presentation for Microsoft where we're trying to establish a market that taps into video gaming. I don't want to go too much into the details of it, but right now Neilson captures when people play games, but not much detail on what kind of games they're playing, other than the brands, and how much time do they spend playing online and doing gaming with other people from across the world. So we went into Microsoft, my employee out there, Tara, and we had to figure out a strategy to kind of get them more involved in the process, because they were, frankly, anytime Neilson steps up to your door, it's going to cost you money to get the information that you want. So we had to kind of break that down. So we talked about it a few Mondays ago, and the group said, gaming is so big, and again, I'm talking about 20-somethings. They're like, we have to do something to build that market share because it's just so important. Everybody that's, 10 to 30 and probably beyond that is playing video games now. So we worked out some of the pros and cons of that on the call. So consensus to me is really all about getting to the solution, which is to, in our case, sell that product to the clients. But it also makes for a happier work environment because they feel like there's some engagement. You actually listen to me when we're having this conversation. The days, somebody mentioned Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi told you what to do, and you did it. Now, we can argue about if that's an effective strategy nowadays or not, but he definitely had clear targets, and he made sure that his employees, his players knew that, and his coaches. So understanding the targets is important, but in today's world, you have to get the employees involved, I think, in that decision making. That's what we do at Neilson. I think most companies now understand that, and that's kind of the way I build my consensus, at least in my world, is to get the employees engaged on a weekly basis.